Now that the coronavirus pandemic, I beg your pardon, has plateaued in South Africa somewhat. In the Western Cape, hospitals are playing catch-up. They're working through an extensive backlog of elective surgeries. Dr. Saadiq Kariem is the Chief of Operations for the Provincial Health Department. He joins us live now. Dr. Kariem, thank you so much for your time. So what kind of surgeries are we talking about here, and just how big is this backlog?
Absolutely. So in terms of the backlog, we generally use a measure of operations more than 30 minutes just as a proxy marker. And if we use 2019 as the baseline, in the province, we conducted a significant number of surgeries in this category, just over 105,000 surgeries, more than 30 minutes. And by December 2021, this had in fact dropped by 22%. In other words, we've done 22% less operations in this category, more than 30 minutes. So we're talking here about elective, non-emergency surgery, if you like hernia operations, hip replacements, and those types of surgeries. And in terms of catch-up, I think one important aspect of the catch-up is that we obviously want to prioritize surgeries like cancer surgery, because we do know that if one prolongs those operations for too long, they can in fact present as emergencies.
Has this wait for surgery not created another public health emergency of sort, in that, no matter how small it might seem, like a hernia operation, for example, if left for too long, that could become life-threatening? Dr. Kariem? I think we've lost Dr. Kariem there.
I lost reception a little bit.
There he is. We've got him back. Dr. Kariem, go ahead. Dr. Kariem, let me pose that question to you again. Do you think that the fact that we stopped doing these surgeries has created another public health emergency, in that even the smallest of surgeries, if left unattended to, could become life-threatening?
Absolutely, they will become life-threatening. And in fact, if we look at the overall surgeries, in other words, total surgeries in the province, not just those more than 30 minutes, but if we include the less than 30 minutes, we in fact conduct about 165,000 on an annual basis. And if you incorporate that category, the backlog rises from 23,000 to around 36,000. And they can become life-threatening. Even a simple hernia operation, for example, if a hernia strangulates, that can in fact present as a life-threatening emergency. So these are surgeries that in fact have to happen, and we simply have to catch up with this backlog.
Catching up is not going to be easy. We're constantly seeing on the news and hearing of people we speak to about doctors exhausted from just the amount of work that they have to do, hospitals not coping with the numbers. So do we have the manpower and the finances to catch up? Is it actually possible?
That's critical, because one can't have a plan if you don't have the funding and the staff to catch up. So what we've in fact done over and above our normal allocation, we've added another 20 million rand to hopefully contract additional staff to be able to allow us to catch up. And we will prioritize lists. We will use the money obviously for staffing, for nursing, medical and anesthetic staff. But I think what's also important is that, particularly if one looks at cancer surgery, it's not just the surgery itself, it's in fact also the workup. So one needs to have, for example, CT scans, MRI scans, and prepare patients for the surgical work, for the surgery. So that funding will go a long way in helping us catch up. But over and above that, we've also got a donation of 5 million rand from the Gift of the Givers to Groote Hospital, and that will further help us to catch up with the backlogs.
You mentioned prioritizing a few minutes ago, and you said cancer is one of the priority surgeries. What else is top of the list? And are you afraid that there might be some that slip through the cracks?
So other surgeries that we also need to prioritize are some obstetric and surgeries for women's health. And it was mentioned earlier in terms of breast cancer, for example. That's another priority category for us. But in the rural areas, for example, we've also found that there are a number of people who require dental surgeries. So we're going to be prioritizing those as well. And also one of the areas that we want to prioritize is, in fact, burn surgery, because there's also a great need for that. That having been said, virtually every department has been affected by COVID in terms of the lockdowns. And so we want to prioritize and prioritize all our lists across the various departments, but with a particular focus on those areas.
How do you make sure that you reach everybody who was meant to get surgery and make sure that there aren't some people who are left without assistance?
So what our teams are doing at the moment is we've obviously have the contact details of people who require various surgical procedures. So they will prioritize those lists according to different criteria, depending upon the discipline, and then contact people to say, please, can you come in for your surgical procedure? So we obviously have a system in the province where we can prioritize people according to various criteria, and then we will make contact with people and say, look, we need to schedule your operation. It's been postponed before, and can you please come in to whichever hospital? And we're doing this right across all our hospitals, regional, district, as well as hospitals like Grootskloof and Tygerberg Hospital.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for your time. We wish you all the best with that catch-up. And we've seen on the news that cancer patients in particular are facing a big problem in this country. Thank you, Dr. Saadiq Kariem, Chief of Operations for the Western Cape Health Department.